Thank you for joining Plain Pap Church for online service today. Please like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel for weekly uploads.
Mama would sit over there in her big old rocking chair. She would speak so softly and so kind, yeah. And I heard Mama say, Lord, I thank you. I thank you for all my children. Every one of them, yes. You gave each one of them to me. So I tried to be a very good mother. I didn't take anything. I even forgot. I forgot all about my needs. You know what, church? Every day. Oh, it feels just like that. Other days, yes it does.
Sermon preview.
Here's a preview of the power of positive speech in the life of one of the characters from next Sunday's sermon. Let me leave you with a preview of the power of positive speech in the life of one of the characters from part 2 of this sermon. Let's look at Abigail. Although King David was one of the personages of the Old Testament who had several wives at one time, we of course do not practice that custom. At the time when Abigail advised David with wisdom, her homestead was established while he was a dweller in caves, and she was the wife of an ill-bred husband. However, I see no record of her being a mother. But the wisdom with which Abigail spoke directed her away from the doom which was Nabal's, her then husband's, destiny for insulting David, the man of a bright future, and elevated Abigail to subsequently become the wife of David, that man who would be king and a progenitor of the Messiah. Mama, keep thy tongue from speaking evil.
Welcome to Testimony Time. We understand that some of you are working on writing down your accounts of what God has done for you, but we won't be able to share them if you don't submit them. You may have a Jesus joy smile on your face, but the congregation won't know about the work of God in your life until you share it. So please, say so, redeemed ones. Do you have a burning testimony that you want to give? Then please tell us what God has done for you by using the email listed on the screen. Do you have an offering, tithe, or donation that you would like to give Plain Path? Then please use the information on the screen to do so as well. For any further questions, please contact us via email or reach out to our church officials. Now it is time for the sermon.
Mama, keep thy tongue from speaking evil. Proverbs 34, verses 12 and 13 says, "What individual is he that desireth life and loveth many days, that he may see good? Keep thy tongue from evil and thy lips from speaking guile." Mumma, keep thy tongue from speaking evil. Proverbs chapter 31, from verses 10 through the end, is the standard scripture which is heralded on Mother's Day and read in honor of those who have given birth and have been nurturers. That biblical passage begins with verse 10, "Who can find a virtuous woman?" and continues for about 21 more verses, at which point the chapter is completed. At verse 26, the passage continues with these words, "She openeth her mouth with wisdom, and in her tongue is the law of kindness." It is this thought which I'd like to examine in brief today. This thought is being examined in brief, of course, because these COVID-19 sermons are deliberately structured to only require about 10 minutes of your time. Since today is Mother's Day, I'd like to talk about the tongue of a wise woman, and the title of this sermon is, "Mumma, keep thy tongue from speaking evil." This teaching applies to men as well, so that it is not really gender specific. It is notable that those principal individuals from Bible times upon whom I choose to focus were either mothers at the time when they spoke wisely or foolishly, or that a wise individual was so judicious in her speech that her actions found her favor with God and man and led to matrimony. And in the converse situation, her lack of wisdom caused her to be found in disfavor and left her forever frowned upon for the foolishness of her words. I don't want to take anything for granted, because on particular holidays and at certain celebrations, particular speakers tend to create sermons which tempt large swaths of their congregations to feel unfortunate, like the way that the food insecure would feel on Thanksgiving to see Instagram images of someone else's feasting, while they, the have-nots, are famished and eating their fingernails. After all, how would those people feel who were left out on the fun if National Cattle Rustlers Day had been celebrated where Job lived, right after his flocks were stolen? I was once in a church where one of the missionaries stood up during the testimony part of the service and proclaimed, "I am rich," with emphasis on the word rich. And she was not speaking of being rich in good works. She was addressing either the reality of or her perception of the state of her finances. Whatever it is that you have to be cautious not to be so ostentatious in your celebration that you make yourself obnoxious to those who have not, because then you are like those Corinthian Christians who at the bring your own lunch portion of the Lord's Supper ended up Communion Day engorged and overindulged and oversatiated in both food and beverage, whom the apostle rebuked, while the food insecure have-nots, who were in the same location as their well-to-do brothers, many of whom started off their day hungry and thirsty, remained the same way despite the wealth of food where they were. Isn't that somewhat like that saying about dying of thirst in the ocean? Mama, keep thy tongue from speaking evil.
Thank you for joining Plain Pap Church for online service. If you enjoyed the word today, don't forget to like this video, comment down below, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We hope that you have a blessed week, saints. Until next time.